They have more liberty now on blue side. There's much less or much fewer must bans. G2 likely have to ban Camille again. But there's still LeBlanc Rengar, so they may actually leave Camille open with the Varus ban and give it over to Mithy.
Oh, give it over to Mithy, give it over to Wunder. Could go anywhere. That's the beauty of this pick. We've already seen the Gragas, a potential flex pick coming in for Splyce. Oh, pair that with the Camille.
Look at Mithy, he's getting ready. He knows, because they're either getting Rengar or Camille at this point. It's pretty big for G2. This is obviously a price they pay for picking red side right now.
What are they going to give up? It's a hard debate. What do you give to your
opponents? Ban Rengar and give him Camille, I think.
Really? Give him Camille? They say give him Rengar.
I meant, of course, English, secondary language. You know how that goes.
You're learning on the fight. It's okay. It's okay, Krepo.
God damn it.
Very similar words. Rengar, Camille, understandable.
You just gotta do it with confidence, you know? You say it, and then if it happens, you drop the mic, you walk away. Bing! Yeah, to get my own little video. I never had one of those videos made for me. I'm gonna edit my own.
Edit your own?
Selectively edit whenever Krepo rightly predicts. Ding, ding, ding.
You need an anonymous account to post it under. I think people might be a little frustrated if you post under your own
Totally
name.
not Krepo, 1, 2, 3, 4. On Reddit.
Okay, so Splyce have their hands on the Rengar.
Yeah.
Hasn't been the most successful pick domestically for Europe.
I mean, in IEM, it's not been a successful pick domestically for Europe because it's just not been played. It's been bad all the time. But no, you're right. At IEM, it wasn't really working out.
Yeah, I guess that's internationally.
Yeah,
all right, our Rengars have not looked the best. Trashy's going to try it this time.
Exactly. If half the teams of a tournament are European, it's still an international tournament. The reaction, of course, is take the strongest duelist jungle you can imagine. There was a period of time where people would play Ivern into kind of Rengar and trying to just get around it that way, but I think Graves is a fine choice, and G2 really leaning into that Ezreal priority that we see.
They're liking the way Zven played that one. It was pretty impressive mechanically, making sure that things happened, but Splyce,
yeah,
they're like, we want to push hard.
Actually, there's very few instances where I advocate a Ziggs pick, but I think in this particular matchup, when you're playing against a player that is just so good at what he does, as in Zven, you kind of just play the game in a way where not even the best players can do much about it. You push him in with Ziggs Karma, you take their turret, you open up the map, you make it so that Rengar can find picks. This Lulu will be bound to Zven in the mid game, just trying to make sure that he doesn't die.
Okay, Sencux is still reclined. Is he actually stuck? Are we going to have to pause for that to get him back up?
Our main narrative was like, Sencux is on decline. He switched that around. Sometimes you got to lean back.
Relax.
Yeah.
It's too easy, says Sencux. His Echo, though, taken away. Going to be a little bit harder for him to pick up something. Syndra continues to remain banned in this series.
Yeah, this is where they're attacking Splyce. Not only do they switch sides and they remove the counter pick potential from Splyce to give Sencux a preferential matchup, they're also attacking him much harder here in phase 2. Previous games, not a single mid laner was being banned out. It was always that Gnar to ban out against the Renekton. And right now, Cassio, Echo, Syndra are all off the game. LeBlanc's off the list as well, and now Splyce reacts with an Ahri ban, so both these guys will have to dig very deep to find better matchups.
6 champions taken out of the mid lane pool.
G2 might actually just pick Orianna here and be like, you know what, I don't think you have anything left to offer.
Except Orianna's not available.
Oh, they could have picked Orianna, but it's not available, which I totally should have said. Damn it, what is left at this point? Somebody have a list out there?
Zed
is available.
Let's do it.
Oh my, that's actually a really embarrassing blunder to make. And Nautilus is the best pick after the second ban phase, where nothing is kind of taken off, because he's a new Maokai, pretty much. Yeah. Teams would just pick Maokai here, then leave the counter pick open. We may actually see the Zed come out if this Jayce gets locked in.
They have a Lulu. They have tools. Ooh, interesting.
Top lane Kennen. Bully.
1-3-1 once again, potentially coming
Triple
in for
flag
Splyce.
still. Technically can be AD Kennen, Jayce mid, or Ziggs mid, Jayce top. Unlikely, but just for the record. Let the record show that if it happens, it was predicted.
Krepo said that it could happen.
Uh-huh.
Well, G2. Could be a Lulu mid and a Nautilus support.
Yeah, it could. If you were in 2015, maybe.
It's hard to keep track of what year Lulu was broken. There were a couple of them, but I don't remember specifically
Just
which
different
ones.
ways. Does she kill you or does she help her team? Yeah, I think the Zed actually comes out here because it's a fine matchup into Jayce.
All right, lethality in the mid lane. I'm liking it.
And more importantly, there's no hyper tank being picked up on the side of Splyce, so it's not like this Kennen is going to build more than one armor item. Yeah, he'll get a Zonias, but nobody can really itemize against his Zed efficiently. There's very few hard CC to lock him down as well, no suppressions. So PerkZ is actually the man to watch in this game.
Have to put the priority on him. And this is a lot of pressure. Last time it was Zven who was carrying the game. It was Zven who was making all the plays and dishing out the damage. He still has the tools to make that happen to a certain degree. No Shen this time. A lot more onus onto PerkZ in this draft.
Yeah, no shenanigans.
I feel like Splyce continuing to build us up this 1-3-1.
You missed it.
No shenanigans.
Yes. Shout out to Freak out there, my one fan.
You have like 2, 3 maybe? Come on, Krepo.
There's at least one guy who must appreciate a pun here and there. But I think the game plan for Splyce is very simple. It's just take out all these tier 1 turrets and then force a fight somewhere before G2 pop off and outscale. Because PerkZ, while he is influential in the game early on, he will in the end become a mere distraction. PerkZ and Expect are just going to create so much space for Zven to operate in.
Easy game for the Ezreal to have. So many targets that you have to focus on. Makes it pretty comfortable for him. And really, 2 very different team compositions coming in. But at the end of the day, this is your chance, whether you're a Fairweather fan or a diehard.
Yeah, where do you go now, fans?
At LO eSports, hashtag SP1 or hashtag G2. When it was 70% for G2, then it was 50. Where's it going to be this time?
Keep switching sides. I'm going to stick with my Broncos. Go Broncos.
Go Broncos. Here we go. Game 3. G2 versus Splyce. Splyce finally find themselves on the blue side. G2 on the red. Is red side just too strong?
Red side, best side. Oh, the 5-man invade. My heart warms when I see this. Where are they going?
Oh, they're waiting.
They want to punish this ward by Trashy.
Trashy.
Do it. You want some vision. You're going to invade your Raptors. I think you have to.
Trashy, you don't want them to start Raptors.
Do you really want to play the game with no information?
30 seconds until minions spawn.
The announcer just told you 30 seconds until minions spawn. Not much longer and your Raptors spawn. Oh.
You could do it. Ah, yeah, okay. Trick showed himself. All right. At the end of the day, obviously, safe play comes in from Trashy. Right play in the end. He may not know it now, but when he goes back and watches the VOD, he'll say, yes, I'm so glad I did not move in there.
Mithy and Kobbe moving over. Just to stop the enemy Raptor invade, essentially.
Minions have spawned.
Not sure where G2 is, of course. Didn't spot them in their own jungle.
It's a bold ward to place on your own.
Kobbe's a bold man.
Bold man.
Bold, explosive Yordle. Krepo, what are we looking for here in this early game? I feel like our attention has been very focused on bot in these first few games because they've been such different matchups back and forth.
I think we won't see any ganks in top lane, so it's wise for both junglers to start top side. Both teams will also be privy to that information. Expect and Wunder are going to path to lane late. We see Kennen right there. If you're unfamiliar with top lane Kennen, they start W first. Basically stack up auto attacks on the minions and then go for an auto W trade. And that is worth hitting Expect for if you are Wunder. Every time he goes close to a CS, you want to auto attack him, but you have to remember auto attacks draw minion aggros. So you only want to do it when you can really follow it up with that, you know, improve the auto from W and then poke him, and then level 2, that's how you generate stuns. And you obviously play in the brush, so whenever you get minion aggro, you can just sweep it off just like that. That's what Wunder wants to do. Get access to the creep, stack up, auto, W. Expect wants to just get close.
But
there's a level 2
is
gank.
here. Red buff proccing. Wunder knows he's dead. There's nothing left for him. That's going to be first blood. G2 starting this one off right.
It's such a smart gank to do because you saw the gameplay, right? If we were zoomed in, not looking at the minimap, it was perfect gameplay. It's like, oh, he's really bullying Nautilus. There's no counterplay. Expect, look at he was forcing Wunder out of lane, and then suddenly Wunder's like, oh, I'm getting level 2 gank. This is the perfect counter.
Oh, it's dark. Trashy's going to make a response of his own, though. He's going to go try to steal away a blue buff. Try to get something back. Punish Trick for the early play, but Kennen started cold.
The one problem is, Expect only picked up an assist, right? He has to walk back to lane. The lane was kept frozen, I believe, by Wunder. Or it's not frozen, it's a slow push out. But the problem is there's still some CS being denied. The way this lane interacts with each other is not going to change. Expect will still be behind Wunder, and now the bottom side of the map has gone over to Splyce. So now the onus is on Kobbe and Mithy to really power through in the bottom lane and find a way to open up that bot lane turret.
Now they're laying down decent amount of poke. The Ziggs just so obnoxious to play against, and already all of the pots burned through by Mithy. can't comfortably keep laning against here. The harass continues to come out.
Yeah, Trig just snuck around and looked like this is perfect one-on-one play by Wunder. He was really going to town, expect, but the problem is, like, if Grace shows up, yeah, you're done for. He holds the summoners, he knows, doesn't waste them.
That's grim.
Yep, and the wave, I think, did get pushed in here at the end, so everybody played everything right there.
It's like old Yeller. Interesting, though, as we kind of focus back in on the bot lane, as we look across multiple lanes, things are relatively even outside of the top side of the map. Now, a lot of pressure on Expect, similar to what we saw in the first two games, to get that CS under tower.
Yeah, Trig's approach in his early game is just relieving pressure. He went top to relieve pressure from Expect. He was obviously happy it resulted in a kill, but look at it, the laning pattern is still, it's a very counter-heavy matchup. Like, Wunder will pull ahead on this pick, because this also fits his playstyle. This is very synonymous to Gnar, the way you play it. You know, ranged bully, auto Q, auto. In this particular matchup, it's actually like auto W proc into Q, and then hide and brush for the reset. Very easy. It's just.
Do you think we're going to see the AP kind of team fighting Kennen, or are we going to see that frozen Mao, that sort of split push Kennen that has been off and on popular, but only with a couple different players?
Actually, not quite sure. I don't like AD Kennen on a side lane. I think it's horrible, but teams like it. Trashy getting out of jungle. They reveal Trick. It's good. As long as you find the enemy graves, you can keep playing the pressure game on Kennen 1v1. I personally like Azonia's flying Kennen to set up some CC, at least for this team that's not bringing anything to the table. But if they feel they can never fight in team fights anyways, they may just want to invest in the split push Kennen anyways.
Decent thing to consider. They have the lane bully and the lane advantage for now. Trashy's on the way up. Wunder's continuing to move forward. Stun goes down onto Trick. Trying to get a summoner there. Aren't going to find it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it more. I think it will actually just be AD Kennen, just dueling on side lanes. Seems like the smarter choice. Just always try and stay ahead of this Nautilus. Keep the pressure going. Play for the turrets. Keep the open map. Your remaining 4 members can always siege.
True. I mean, he has the fervor too, so he's set up relatively well for it. The other thing to consider, though, is that there's a Zed on this team right now, and the Zed, maybe not super comfortable to duel out the Kennen, but much easier for him to kill an AD Kennen as opposed to that AP Kennen who will have the Zhonya's. Yeah, the Zhonya's is a way of counterplay, but obviously auto attack trades definitely help you there as well. If you have some sustain in your build, you can get, I don't know, a little bit tankier overall. We'll have to see how it evolves. This is obviously something we have to track as well. The impact of Kobbe, and I think stylistically speaking, drafting that Ziggs here obviously will help him become more relevant in the game compared to Zven. Because Zven late game on Ezreal is going to pop off. Splyce bot lane got ganked last game by not having enough wards. Right now, Trick is looking to repeat that, but it's very hard against such a push poke lane. Feels like a lot of the lanes are much, much more difficult to gank this time around. Zed with some relative safety, Jayce with the comfort of range.
There's also just no CC on like a lot of these pairings.
Oh, Zven going in. Has to be careful though. We'll get snared up here. Mikyx still not comfortable in the trade.
And just always queuing the backline there from Kobbe. It's so obnoxious to play against. He has lost chapter now. Just keep doing it. And Zven, he will eventually just kind of run out of mana even with a tier.
It's kind of hard to watch the Ziggs bot lane matchup. Personally, I'm glad I'm not playing it right now. That's about the only recompense.
The support pick matters a lot. You need some help in terms of push from your support, especially against like Lulu, Ezreal, who can eventually challenge you on that front. It's always push first, straight later. Sencux right now, getting all in.
Nice shadows, goes in, still has the spin, wants to snap back. Makes it to safety. Not gonna get it. Good sidestep from Sencux.
Yeah, really well played, well-timed exhaust. Also, PerkZ opened up with the trade, got all his cooldowns down, and then went in for the ulti, of course. So not the ideal trade. He was trying to suck in Sencux for a counterplay and then surprise him by Expect showing up.
Doesn't get anything in the end, and I mean, really, Sencux just outplaying there. PerkZ has to burn a summoner spell. Sencux has to burn 2, though, so still potentially a small advantage over to PerkZ.
Yeah, just it makes it so that Sencux has to go back into this kind of low-pressure style, where he just plays back in the lane, or he needs really good vision next to the lanes. Or Trashy can open up, because Trashy right now, he has farmed evenly to that level 6 power spike. Except for that early first spawn in top lane, the game has been pretty even.
Rengar all now available, though. We have to wonder where it's going to go, where he's going to show up. Is now spotted out, and the team knows exactly where Trash is going to be, so it does give them a little bit more onus to play comfortable on the bottom side of the map, but they definitely do not look comfortable here. Kobbe full health, continuing to throw out the poke. We already talked about Lost Chapter once, and it's just a little gross.
Yeah. It's a little gross. Zven may have to take a shower after this game. Wunder right now getting engaged on, knocked up pretty soon.
Depth charge going to chase him down. Trick goes forward. End of the line, not going to connect.
Trashy wasted ulti. That's big, actually.
Trashy wasted ulti. Like, they burned everything. They didn't kill the Kennen. Why is Trashy wasting ulti? What we're
now it's an equal trade, you know? Like,
okay,
now the Rengar can't go mid to help this matchup in particular.
Okay.
Imagine if you have Jayce, Rengar speeding through a gate, jumping on PerkZ, if you ever aggressively ultis.
Okay, I see that. That's fair.
You can never look at it in a vacuum. You need to look at like what happens next. If you fail a play,
I'm a play-by-play guy. I look at things like that's how I'm supposed to look at. I don't.
Like he already escaped. That's the point, right? Like
yeah.
it's very unfortunate. It's very understandable why Trashy ended up burning that ulti. But imagine if you had it right now. You can punish people a minute later for a play they've already made.
Yeah. Interesting choice by Trick too in the exchange to W flash instead of Q flashing. But not going to get it in the end. Mithy going to lay down a bit of vision and make it to safety. And now, because of the play on the top side, G2 relatively comfortable on the bottom side. Have set up vision for themselves, but Splyce is swapped.
I love this rotation. Whenever you have a stronger top lane and you have a good sieging bot lane, you move him over right now. Expect trouble. No one flash. He's staying around.
Up. Chain CC. Kobbe's going to grab that one.
He saw 3. He did not expect 4 right here. This is a really good map rotation from Splyce because their comp benefits so much from opening up these tier 1 turrets. They do not care that they lose the Mountain Drake because they're playing a completely different game here.
Not only does their comp benefit from it, but they're so good at doing it with the Ziggs. G2, yeah, they get something back, but it's only a Mountain Dragon.
Yeah. Now there's a longer lane where Wunder can most definitely lean into that attack speed-based Kennen. I think you have your answer on the screen here now. PerkZ is being poked out. Could be another big rotation if the Ziggs comes in and PerkZ can't clear, because that is one of those picks with not much innate wave clear. It takes him time to clear through a full wave.
And if he shadows forward to try to clear the wave.
We may see actually Trick show up and a teleport from Expect to break this siege. If it keeps on happening.
Trick does have the angle on the flank if he wants to push for more.
Yeah, they have to be careful moving back to their jungle. Please don't face check. No,
Mikyx.
Mikyx?
Trick.
Mikyx? Hello?
Mikyx? Hello? Exhaust? All right,
Run, Mikyx! Run!
He's gonna be safe. Nope. Might be Trick who has to run.
Trick failed.
Oh, didn't go over the wall. That's
wall.
not all you want. Here comes the Jayce. Trick's in trouble. Up he goes. All right.
I love watching high-level League Legends. Games like this remind me why I can't make it.
Oh, little blunders. Sometimes
Happens.
it's hard to push the buttons. Sometimes, if you're Grays, maybe you gained a little weight. You know, you used to be able to collateral damage over that wall. You're not able to anymore. It happens. You're getting older. Your body starts to change. You know, things happen.
Yeah, or you just misclick.
Or
that's okay as well.
Or you just misclick. It's also true.
Just a wee bit of misclick. Zven shifting in. That gives Wunder the signal. Hey, he may not be alone. Can Wunder hold this? So obviously Expect is much better at holding under turret. So this is a good lane assignment from G2.
Yeah, starting to build towards that wit's end, but it won't help against the primarily physical damage of the Mystic Shot. Will mitigate some damage from the ult, but dodges it anyway. So pressure's on now. PerkZ gonna grab blue buff.
Trick needs to relieve some pressure somewhere pretty soon. Because Splyce, they should fight back somewhere. They're actually pairing Mithy. This is the old school Season 3 lane swaps. Supports and top laners. And then leave your AD carry alone. Back then they were called AD carries, not marksmen. And they were most definitely not Ziggs.
They were most definitely AD for sure.
Yeah. Imagine if you're like a really adept AD carry player and you wake up after like a coma and you're just like, what is this atrocious Ziggs doing in my lane? What happened?
And then you realize how disgustingly strong it is.
And then you realize it's 2017 and you're an AD carry. And like, what's going on? Put me back.
Put me back. Give me another 2 years.
Yep, wake me up.
Bring me back when it's Season 2 again and I can solo carry games.
Wake me up when November ends, when we change the patches again.
That would be a green day, Krepo. A green day indeed.
Indeed. Expect slowly getting back into the game. He's been giving a kind of a solo lane right there. G2 getting an unanswered turret almost here. They took that down from 100% HP to 20%. Kobbe and Mikyx did not find any opening anywhere else on the map, and they're now forced to match on the top side. So the last 2 minutes kind of have gone to G2.
Decent spot to be too, because we look at it, 2K gold deficit. Once again, not a make or break point.
No.
But this can grow. See right now, they don't know Trick is there.
No, they have to be very careful. They have the wave clear. If they want to play the passive mindset, they can. Splyce need to be careful to not play over aggressively on every part of the map. Trick moving over if they see the Z in the mid lane. This is a sigh of relief, at least, for Splyce.
Yeah, but Jayce is coming up. It might be Trick who's caught out here.
Yeah.
Does pull back.
Splyce was very happy to see Z in the mid lane right there, catching that wave. Otherwise, they would have had to back off from the turret.
Oh, Expect trying to clear the wave. Doesn't know Rengar's here.
I mean, he must expect it at least because he sees his jungler on the top side. He's just going to ward. That's what he's doing. Now he gets engaged on. He wants to know what's going on before it happens.
Now where you want to be. Where's the snare at? Does flash over it in the end. Knocks up Wunder. That's bad for Wunder. Goes forward. Locks him up again. Expect. Is he going to get it? Yeah! Nice one for
So
one.
well played. Instant flash. No hesitation. Instant snare into knock up. Really well played by Expect.
Oh, now
Make it out there.
PerkZ is the one who's on the hunt. Trashy running. Stealthed up. PerkZ catches a glimpse of him. Dashes forward. Flashes out. There's the Deathmark Ignite. Auto attack. Spin. It's done. He gets it.
Yeah, and just like that, G2 fight their way back into the game. And who would have thought it was actually Expect with kind of the clutch play to get them back in there. So often this guy gets left on an island. He's to fend for himself with incredibly low jungle proximity. He's one of the top laners that gets the least attention and always kind of has the opposing jungler show up a little bit more, try and punish him, because that's generally the weak point, right? Every single week we're like, how is G2 going to lose? Well, Zven and Mithy are good. PerkZ plays safe. I expect there's a little bit of a risk, and this guy comes out clutch.
So good. Kind of outplays mechanically, uses the flash to perfectly dodge the skill shot, keeps the fight going.
Who knew you could mechanically outplay on Nautilus?
I thought that point and click CC just took that away from you.
Yeah.
But there's some skill shots in there, Krepo.
There's the massive anchor.
Emphasis on the skill.
But I really like it because he ults first, giving Wunder the illusion of safety to kite back, and then he instantly flashes him out, whacks him in the face. Look at it. Knock, knock. Like, and then it chains into each other. So it's a snare into the knock-up, and then he gets the perfect angle after the flash. You could debate that Trashy should have...
What?
Oh.
You have to hold that thought because Miky's dead.
You could debate that Miky's dead, but you could also debate that Trashy could have flashed in front of the anchor toss. Right?
Very true.
That was the outplay to be made. Faker would have flashed in there. Hang on, Zven.
Let's see if Sencux wants to do a Faker impression. He wants to flash in here. Cool. Not going to do it. A lot of damage on his Sven, though.
That was the Mad Life Q from Sencux, trying to force the shift from Zven.
Okay, Expect.
See this anchor? I don't even need it.
Yeah.
I'm going hands-free.
You
Bluetooth, baby.
Trashy PerkZ. Careful. I keep expecting people to die in these situations because I expect them to try to outplay.
Yeah.
Because from what I've heard, rumors of the G2 versus Splyce script, I've heard there's a lot of attempts at mechanical outplay.
Here we go. Let's see one more.
PerkZ locked up. Not going to Deathmark, but...
Lost his flash.
Yeah, Ghostblade traded for ult there.
And it was very close to ulting though. Obviously, if you can get your ulti channel off mid Kennen ultimate, and then you can do just a little bit more damage at the end, you can pop him. So that was much closer than it appeared. Still pressure play here. G2, they do set up very well around the dragon. Something that they've continuously done throughout this entire series.
Trashy holding on to control of his jungle, however, not letting G2 push it any further, but Trick once again setting up for these dragons, and Trashy once again not looking to contest.
Yeah, but right now it's very hard for Splyce to get anything on the top side of the map. Traditionally, they've been trading sides. They say, well, you take bot, we take top, but the top tower is already done. And it's actually a pretty good free objective here for G2. They were 2,000 gold behind so early in the game, and they're really clawing back here.
Yeah, slowly but surely finding small trade after small trade in their favor. And this is going to be a small pickup, but one that they're happy to have. Trashy overstays his welcome. PerkZ walks in, not even going to ult, doesn't even need to. Trick going to grab the kill in the end.
Yeah, laying in wait. Perfect trap sprung by G2. We see Wunder on the top side. There's the control for Splyce, not in the bottom side of the map here. Bit of a misread on the side of Splyce, and what a immediate punish by G2 eSports.
Good to see. Now the gold getting closer and closer to even. Expects getting aggressive. Not going to amount to much. Wunder, unfortunately, not dishing a whole lot of damage out.
Yeah, but he can now safely farm this under his turret. Expect is really happy that kill happened. Sencux looking for PerkZ.
Deathmark goes in. Ignite, spin. Exhaust.
Hammer time.
Ah.
Oh, Kennen! Kennen!
Hit him! Oh. All right. Good play from Sencux.
Hey, Trick's coming.
Risky. Oh, come on. You can do it, Sencux. You can make it out.
Run, Sencux.
Jump to the minions.
Oh, that was so close. That was so incredibly close.
Answering the age-old question, can Sencux outrun a bullet?
Yes.
Answer is yes. Hits by another one from a tower. It does
This game is definitely becoming interesting.
I'm loving it, man. 1v1s.
With the emphasis on the int and the ink part. Start and finish. Mithy lurking around Trick. Final objective here, or next objective in mind for Splyce is the mid lane turret. Zven holding as Ezreal. He can only kind of one-shot one wave. That is the weakness of this comp. I haven't really talked about it too much here, but Splyce definitely not leaning on their strengths.
Not set up for success right now.
Yeah, because if you look at the members of G2, there's nobody... If you don't look at the members of G2 and we look at this play again, I mean, it was pretty self-explanatory, right? Like, Sencux goes in, PerkZ dies, but then look at the hero Kennen. Definitely not Bob. Nope, turns around and is like, I'm done. Not pacifist. And then good reach from Sencux.
Oh, I want to see. I'm actually excited to see this replay. I want to see how close it was. I'm sure that there's something going on. I'm sure there's very important vision control, but right now I want to watch a man outrun a bullet.
Oh, that was disgustingly close. That's a tilter right there. But yeah, like if you look at G2's comp, right, nobody can really hold waves very well on their own. They all need time to clear it. Like a Zed doesn't one-shot, an Ezreal doesn't one-shot. Definitely Nautilus does not one-shot a wave. So if Splyce can facilitate situations where it's either Sencux and Kobbe together or Kobbe and Mikyx getting access to a turret, they can really siege it down. These empowered autos from Kobbe, Ziggs, this ranged harass from Kennen on a turret. You know, Jayce is a siege poke champion.
And the later we get, he gets more points in the satchel charge. It's easier to cut down that turret health threshold. The later you get, the more damage the short fuse passive does, the easier it is to break down those towers. So it just gets even easier as we move forward.
But it should be on tier 2 turrets at that point. The problem is that the G2 have successfully defended many turrets. They've only yielded a single one to Splyce, where their comp is entirely centered around taking these turrets in the early game and opening up the map and getting a goal lead. G2 have done a phenomenal job preventing that.
Yeah, but for now, Splyce continue the pressure game that they're playing on the top side of the map. Trashy's here as well.
And they should have done this when they had the dragon pressure against them earlier. When Wunder was pushing topside, that was the play Splyce was looking for. G2 lucked out that they did not opt in, and now they're defending.
Small fumbles, Expect is all alone. Mikyx gets knocked over the wall by the blast cone. Trick running forward, decent damage, fends over the wall. He's looking to make something happen. Kobbe's in trouble, does get the ultimate out, but it's not enough. G2, they pick a good fight, and Splyce are the ones running for the hills.
Yeah, and obviously this comp is catered around split pushing and sieging turrets for Splyce, not raw team fighting. G2 have a much better comp there with the Nautilus front line, with the Lulu following up. That is the makings of any good team composition. Splyce could not fight back once they were caught.
Wunder still has the ult, but don't think he's going to contest this one.
Yeah, that's obviously, if you're playing with Sand board Kennen, then obviously do not team fight.
1v1. 1v1 as much as humanly possible.
Skirmish is fine. 2v1, you know, leverage those strengths of locking down a single target with repetitive auto attacks, but by all means, do not aggressively invade at any point when there's risk for teamfights. Now expect
this is bad for Wunder.
2v1.
Running for his life, dodge the anchor. Never mind, it's not bad for Wunder. He's
still
fine.
Kennen.
PerkZ is going to grab a tower as well, though, and now it's G2 in the gold lead. For so much of the game, it was Splyce in control, Splyce setting the pace, but just can't find the way to keep this going.
And we have to praise that for G2, because it looks easy, right? It looks like nothing is going on, but they're constantly moving the pieces on the board. PerkZ goes bot to mid, then they go top, Expect switches around. We see Zven and Mithy always match Kobbe, putting pressure. If any point they misassign a lane, hang on, PerkZ.
Oh, PerkZ goes forward, wants to use that addition damage. Kobbe doesn't make it over the wall.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There's two things that Ziggs hate. Zed and gravity. Combined.
Face planting into a wall, also very uncomfortable.
Yeah, doesn't make it over. Too many biscuits.
I mean, good call from PerkZ to go in to get aggressive, and Kobbe unfortunately just, I guess, overestimating his ability to make it out of that scenario.
Yeah, and these lane assignments, these aggressive kind of pinches in between by G2 really thwarting Splyce. They never really got the setup for the preferential push. And they're bleeding turrets as a result.
Yeah, for so long they were ahead, but it was G2 slowly chipping away. Now G2's cashing in on all those small trades that went in their favor. All that way that they ground the gold lead back, and now they're blowing it wide open as we approach the 25-minute mark.
Yeah, and they definitely proved my prediction of the Camille ban and the Rengar pick right. Or I said the opposite, but because Trashy has really low impact so far on this Rengar. Very complex jungle champion to play, especially if you don't get access to it much in scrims or play. Here we see it again, Kobbe just not lined up well enough for Satchel Charge to go over the wall. Very tricky wall to do. You can't do it anyway diagonally. Just need to be straight in front of it.
Unfortunate circumstance. Trashy now potentially caught out again. The Gragas look good for him, but he's getting caught on this Rengar time and time again. We'll make it to safety. But Zven who's in trouble. No, it's Kobbe who's in trouble. Zven goes over the wall. They're going to take down the Ziggs.
Splyce picked apart at the seams. Look at Wunder. He's waiting for his team to stop getting caught so he can finally get some pressure on the lane. But G2 sweeping constantly with zero hesitation.
Mithy. Trick going to back off. G2 going to set their sights on that mid lane tower. They might lose one back in exchange, but they got the kills as well, and the gold lead continues to grow for them.
Yeah, and more importantly, they're scaling. They definitely have the scaling advantage here because late game, split push falls off as a concept.
Oh no, Trashy. He's done. Take a seat.
Yeah.
Pop, pop.
Because if you can't actually teamfight with your composition, even if you generate like a 4,000 gold advantage, you will need to force a fight around a objective at one point, right? Like whether it's an Elder or an Asher, even if Splyce starts split pushing really efficiently right now and take down a couple of turrets, G2 will still win those fights to Asher. And again, this is a fight that Splyce started. Wunder's not here. Look where Wunder is. And these guys try to pick people off. If you're not hit your spells, and you're not aware of the Nautilus that is approaching, just everything gets thrown upside down. This is too complex of a composition for Splyce to pull off efficiently against a team of the caliber of G2.
Overestimating themselves, putting too much pressure on themselves, maybe to outplay, to outmaneuver the opposition. They did so well in game one, but they are struggling here. And I feel like it's Trashy not having the Gragas, not having that hard engage pick that he likes to play. It's
also playing AD Kennen top and Ziggs bot lane. This comp is entirely centered around just obliterating objectives and tier 1 turrets very early on. That should generate you a vision and a map lead, right? And then it's a very disgusting snowball. It's honestly ugly. If this comp works from Splyce, you're praising it to the skies. Like, wow, it's so genius. Pressure on all the lanes, taking out the turrets. But if the enemy actually moves his pieces around well, it looks like it has no purpose.
When you get outmaneuvered, right? When you are not the team who's setting the pace of the game. Because when the Kennen and the Ziggs and the Jayce, when they've got a 4K gold lead in the early stages of the game, you're dead. You can't fight anybody. You're going to get poked down. You're going to get taken down.
Yeah, that has always been the nature of poke comps.
Let's see what Drake does here. Flash auto. Decent damage. Wunder running for his life. Flashes to safety. But flash for a flash in the end.
And all that matters is that he's pushed back to the lane. Right now, Sencux looking for more of what he did earlier. Trashy, again, just is kind of chasing the action.
Look at that dead man's plate.
Plate's pretty empty right now. 0 kills.
It's actually a really terrible spot for Rengar to be because that passive is so strong. Percentage increase on AD, and when people build tank, usually he's got 1 or 2 kills under his belt. That warrior worth so much more, but right now, Trashy, he's kind of tanky, yeah, but he's not dishing out much damage at all. It's a bit grim right now, but as the map resets, I think we can turn our attention to the Baron setup. We turn our attention to the next big objective.
We can definitely start looking at the game from G2's perspective. How do they close it out? Look at Expect as well. He doesn't stay in his lane against Kennen. Once he pushes out, he leaves, and it just assists his team. And eventually, once Wunder moves up to the turret, he'll either look for an aggressive pick here or go back to the lane.
Wunder having the TP does allow him to keep pressuring, but G2 are taking absolute control, and there's no contention here because Wunder's on the bottom side.
Yeah, and they can go for a more instantaneous Baron start because they made a really successful sweep here. This wasn't very impressive from G2 as a team. They eliminated all the vision, super dark here. They could be on Baron right now, or they could all be in base. Splyce are none the wiser.
These tough ways to be, and you have to respect the comp. They already have a Mountain Drake. There's another Mountain Drake potentially on the way. They're respecting it. They throw out the ult.
They did not know whether they were doing Baron, and that's the difference between us always watching this from total view as a spectator and actually getting just 10 seconds of vision there, toggled from the side of Splyce, and really understanding how hard it is for them to fight back and how good of a sweep that was from G2.
And the terrifying thing too is when you throw out that Hail Mary, you pretty much accept that your opponents might walk away with Baron, that this is desperation. So Splyce were just ready to concede that objective. They were not willing to face Jayce.
Yeah, in an alternate timeline, they lose Nashor there.
Right now, however, it's up, it's healthy, they're doing fine, but they have to be careful because the jungle is not safe for them. Mithy's going to clear out this vision, make it all too easy.
And last game, Splyce's comp could like defend brushes like this, right? These are like the entryway brushes where you really don't want to lose vision. But aggressive sweeping, the only way they can really surprise G2 is if they can sneak a blue trinket into the pit. They have some ready. It's going to be their next defense here. Defense against the dark wards. Blue trinkets.
All right, Krepo, you always judge it. You always talk about the Baron setup.
I mean, this is good. I'm loving this one.
Is this the A+?
Like, look at it. They have no clue. They Rengar ulting right now. Like, oh, okay, we see them. Focus. But Splyce can't force anything. They do not have a teamfight comp. They're as far away from a teamfight comp as you possibly can be. With AP Kennen maybe, but this Blade of the Ruined King with End Kennen is not going to do much.
Oh no, Kobbe pulls him over the wall with him.
Just bold from PerkZ, but it's pressure. Triple control ward from G2 is still in place.
Wunder's there.
This is G2 folding back because Expect is just holding. And again, look at, like, they need to take time to get this wave down. They can't defend versus sieges. This is where G2 is showing how hard it is for them to wave clear.
Vision once again though remains in their control. They can only continue to apply pressure.
It almost makes you wonder, should G2 have started the Baron by now?
Yes.
But that's from a result-oriented point of view, right? Because Splyce did not never face check, they should have started the Baron. But what if Splyce face checked and they were doing the Baron? They would have thrown the game, right?
It's true.
And that's exactly what I hate about Reddit threads. Result-oriented analysis is wrong. Look at the beauty here. It's all dark. They have only victories possible and no failures. At worst, they go neutral here on the map because they actually outscale as well. So I love it from G2.
There it goes. I wanted a rating. I love it. Will be the rating.
Look at them.
Baron setup. They are starting it.
They condition them in being scared, but they don't know it. And if you wait this long twice and you start instantly the next time.
Once again, the poker game. You're mixing it up. You're forcing your opponent to be on the back foot, and G2 force a Baron away from Splyce.
Yep, and now they're going all in, onto the base. Not everybody loves it though. This was some meek applause. They're like, yeah. Some golf claps come out.
I mean, it's a steady game, Krepo. Some people want to see blood. Some people appreciate a Baron bait.
I think we'll see a fight once we hit the inhibs. Because Splyce's comp is actually good at wave clearing, so G2 will have to force their way in on multiple lanes at once. They can't go for 5-man push dive.
Mountain Drake will help that effort as they look to break into the base. They may also split their forces up, but who's going to duel the AP Kennen on the side lane right now?
Yeah, the problem is, as well, for your Splyce here, Expect is not afraid to just kind of man mode it up and go in, because he has a GA. Okay, he can really go in, and all the flashes are up still. So it's actually good that he's getting caught.
Expect kind of caught, but who's stuck in with who? Now it looks like Splyce may be the ones in trouble, flashing out to safety. Zed goes into the back line. Deathmark not going to pop anybody.
This was the right play from Splyce. They need to attack this kind of link in the fence from G2, because otherwise he's just going to jump in and just be super annoying and tank everything up. So it was a good attempt, but G2 collapsed in time.
G2 getting just about everything that they wanted, though, in the exchange. They're still breaking down the towers.
But look at how aggressively they're playing on the turret. Splyce completely falling apart.
That's a lot of damage. Trick's the one running forward, but he's caught out. He's taking the tower. That's not where he wants to be. They're trying to cut it down so he doesn't drop. Expect now the man on the front lines. No tank for the side of Splyce. Right now, they don't need one.
Yeah, because Zven is on the base in the mid lane. They're just buying time here with the GA. As long as that turret falls, and it does, mission accomplished. Zven pushing on his own.
Hitting the inhibitor, they get Expect, but Zven looking to get the inhibitor down to half health, getting lower. Zven's going to pull back.
Oh, Wunder, he only needs to get 2 autos off.
Lines. Decent damage. Mithy's there as well. Wunder wants a little something, but not going to get it.
And I love the confidence that Zven played with. Even 2v1 into the Karma Ziggs there. He pushed down 2 single turrets on his own. And they used Expect's teleport and flash there.
Still a minute 42 seconds left with the Baron too, so they can rinse and repeat. They can run it back down.
Yeah, more importantly, they got rid of the wave clear. They can actually brute force 5-man right now on one of those inhibitors and then walk to the next one, because they've eliminated the defensive structure, and that's the goal with a Baron buff. You can always come back for inhibs later.
Yeah, we see so many teams struggle to break the inhibitor line. That's the big breaking point if you get it with the Baron. G2 managed to break 2 inhibitors open. Easy to do, and Zven, itemization coming out for him. A lot of MR in the kit. Knows that the Kennen still doing decent magic damage to the Ziggs as well.
Yeah, and even if he drops low, he actually becomes very hard to deal with. If G2 can time it so Zven goes low enough to proc the Mao active, then gets the shield from Lulu and the health buff, he's actually almost indestructible at that point. Here it is again. Yeah, it's just buying time for Expect, right? So they break open the base here. We also have both the Zed and the Graves building double, or at least double in the case of Trick, and then triple for PerkZ lethality items. So any semblance of armor that this Splyce comp have built up against this full AD composition is actually useless. Like, it's mostly getting penetrated, because nobody can actually build tank that easily.
Yeah, I mean, the closest you can get to a defensive item right now is that Sterix Gauge.
It makes you wonder, where are the Tabis? Like, only one guy has Ninja Tabi against a full AD comp. We saw I think in this or that, Jat was talking about it, how Freak did the math. If you play against triple lethality items and you have Tobby, that is like a 20 or 30% reduction.
Oh, going forward though, the fight's gonna start. Trashy's in trouble. PerkZ is on the front line, moving for a little bit more. Does get exhausted, does get knocked back, does swap out to safety. He's still up. G2, they're making this look all too easy. Splyce just could not catch a break.
Yeah, composition-wise, they're mismatched. They're already down over 8,000 gold as well. This will be G2 finally pushing through and defending the undefeated record.
At the end of the day, Splyce fought a valiant fight, taking away game 1. 385 days without a loss. Let's make it 386. G2 take game 3.
Yeah, they finish off the enemy team, then they finish off the Nexus. This was clean from G2, especially their defense against the comp from Splyce. Splyce was really strong early on with the sieges, with the turret destruction. They had to keep moving the pieces around to get enough wave clear in every lane to make sure Splyce could never snowball. They did very well, and then they pushed through in the end.
And really, that was the kind of performance we wanted to see from G2. Decisive, punishing their opponents, adapting mid-series. Good show of strength from them. I think at the same time, however, Splyce, as a team who were quite comfortably third place in their group, still are, technically.
Yeah, they are.
Looking to be moving up.
Yeah, this is also a playoff prep for Splyce, right? They want to see growth, and I think we saw growth from Splyce. We saw Trashy comfortable on an engaged champion. We saw Splyce buy into the team environment of like, one guy goes in, let's all follow through. They came prepared with drafts with an identity, and they had game plans. Some of them failed, sure, but you're also playing against the best team in the league that nobody has beaten in the series.
Yeah, I don't think you can knock yourself. Still had a great game 1. Figured out what works for you. Figured out some weaknesses as well.
Yeah, I do want to see how the Ninja Tabi versus Lethality evolves, though. We touched on it at the end. But we apparently can't go into that anymore.
Nope, because for more on that series, on G2, let's send it over to the analyst desk. I'll just butcher that.